talking about medical marijuana, and then we had the attention of the whole room, and it was a bunch of old women, and they were all just kind of watching, and to me it was really interesting to watch the body language as we talked about it. You could tell, without anybody saying anything, who thought good people don't smoke the reefer, and versus
the others were like,
I need to hear a little more about this reefer.
Tell me more about the pot weed.
If they were older, that was the people that went through the whole reefer madness.
That stuff I used to do in the 60s.
That was my dirty secret. But it was really interesting because it was just like split down the middle, and they were all women of about the same age. I'd say 70s, but yeah, like half of them were like, you could tell they were clutching their pearls and stuff like that, and then the other half were like, tell me more. And like I was really, I was really upfront. I was like, let them see my marijuana card.
I also think you get to a certain age where you're just like, fuck it.
Right. It's like, I got one life. I got to do the best I can to live it and have the best quality of life. And if you're not on board, fuck you. I mean, I've always kind of been that way, but God, every day I get more that way. Like, literally, by the time I'm 50, y'all, at the rate I'm going, I won't have a single fuck left.
We got to be damn near out of them by now.
I am, and it's scary because sometimes I just, for somebody as opinionated as me, oh, what you doing there, Ross? Are you wish.com?
You don't worry about it.
You worry about what I'm doing, woman. You just
worry about yourself.
Talk into the microphone.
Yeah, I see how that is. Don't you do any more of those till we find out if they refund. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, James.
But yeah,
why is my bank account negative $8,000? What
Can you shut up already?
Ooh, shit.
Woo! I hate to have to beat you on the podcast.
Thought you were going to say on the potty.
I mean,
that took a weird turn.
I'll do it there. He can't get away.
Have you met her?
Hey, I'm human too.
I've told Chris, and we're always looking at houses. I've started looking at houses that have small yards and they're smaller and not.
Yeah.
You don't have as much to do because I'm like, I'm already to a point where if I bend over,
right,
I'm out for a week.
It's funny how as you age, and I'm not talking like get in your 80s, I'm talking just as you age through middle age, and that like your priorities shift about what, I
just want to be able to have a shop.
Well, I get all. That. But, like, honestly, if the kids didn't take care of the yard, we couldn't. I can't. Mom can't. Ross can't do everything and work the way he works. So, it's like, I get it. It's like, used to my house was immaculate, and every year, the sicker I get, I'm like, oh, fuck that. Nah, fuck that too. It's like, it's an acceptable level of squalor I'm okay with now.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that our house has ever been immaculate.
Oh, no, I used to vacuum.
Thank God you agreed with me on that, because that could have gone one of two ways real easy.
I mean, like, I used to vacuum every day at least once.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Like,
you vacuum occasionally. It's not like...
Occasionally. On special occasions.
I do it about once a week.
Yeah, right before y'all come over.
Yeah.
Usually, like, back before I got really sick, like, I worked full-time. I took care of, like, a 10-acre yard. I'd come home, I'd get on the tractor, and I'd mow the 10 acres so that Ross could weed eat the edges, and then
I would absolutely not walk 10 acres with a fucking weed eater.
And then I would cook dinner, and while dinner was cooking, I would clean the house. I mean, I was Wonder fucking woman. And then EDS said, fuck you. And yeah, so every year it's just like, whatever. We still wash our clothes.
Well, that's good. Probably need to keep up with that.
Yeah, that's probably.
I change my underwear at least twice a week.
I'm pretty sure he was wondering what I was going to do to him when I was talking. I was like, I've already come to the conclusion if I'm still around and you're not, I'm just moving into a condo where I don't have to do anything.
Where you can totally. If it were just me, I would just have a little apartment somewhere or a little condo where I could have me a dog and a cat and
I was like, by the time I'm, that old, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm 47 and I couldn't sleep last night from the pain because I organized my closet yesterday. Oh, I've been in pain since Saturday morning when I woke up because we went to some people's house and we're playing games.
Played games too hard.
Well, no, it's the way she was sitting.
They had a console on the couch, where you
they
set
had a
your
section.
drinks.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I was sitting like this, leaning on it.
So your back was...
My back has just been awful. I couldn't bend over to pick my purse off the floor of the car the other day.
You stayed in that position too long and got it all out.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, we sat there for 4 or 5 hours. It was just an hour or so.
Yeah, but it was just long enough to get kind of stiff and out of sorts. And
I've been I laid in bed. I'm like, I'm stiff. I'm just like
timber. But yeah, so I mean, it is funny how and so it was really just watching those women. It was interesting to me, just the body language. Nobody said anything, but
you could tell the ones that were ready to leave and the ones that weren't.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about this devil's lettuce. And they were like, do you smoke it? I was like,
I inject it.
I was like, I do.
Intramuscular. like the steroids.
Yeah. You could tell she was like, oh, well, I used to do that in the 60s. I was like, yeah, it's, it probably takes a lot less than what you used to do in the 60s.
Here, have one of these gummies. Did you eat the whole thing? Oh, God. You better go home right now.
Her third eye will be open for a week. I'll never forget when that lady said that to me. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, so any other weird things that we...
I roll my eyes when... So we were talking about levels of proof. And I think I have a healthy amount of skepticism, but also am open-minded enough to see reasonable proof and accept it as reasonable proof. But I catch myself rolling my eyes so hard that I've seen my brainstem when I see motherfuckers, and you see it on a lot with paranormal investigators.
When you started talking, I started thinking about what I roll my eyes at those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you'll hear this. Oh my God, that was a voice. Nah, the fuck it was not.
Oh my God, yeah, I watched one. It was one of those new shows. I can't remember the name of it. And this guy's talking about they started praying and a portal opened up in the middle of the living room floor.
Yeah, yes. I hear shit like that.
We must have been the world's shittiest ghost hunters.
Oh my God.
And I'm pretty sure
none of that stuff happened when we did it.
I almost detached a retina.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, I also roll my eyes when people and. You see this all the time too, in society and also with paranormal stuff, where someone is presented with such an abundance of proof
and are just clueless,
or evidence that this is in fact this way, and they're like,
I don't get it.
Don't believe it. Why not? Because I don't want to.
Okay.
And that's basically, and it doesn't matter what the fuck they say.
And when somebody's
that's the
like
reason.
that, there's nothing you can say.
Because I don't want to, because believing this, whatever this is,
threatens
my personal belief. And if I have to change that means I have to look at everything, and that's really uncomfortable.
Redefine who I am, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I get it. That's a difficult thing to do, but. If you've got, a dump truck full of evidence when you only need a cup...
You have to eventually go, there might be something there.
Yeah, you might have to go, maybe there's something to this.
It really is weird when you finally get the evidence and you start thinking about the world in a different way. I don't know about... Well, yeah, I guess Chris too, because he saw something in college. But, my whole life, I believed in paranormal. Mm-hmm. I'd never experienced anything, but I believed there was something... And then when we moved here and started experiencing stuff, it's like...
So you'd never experienced anything till you came here?
Mm-mm. Nope. Not that I can think of.
See, I had my
We ought to start a podcast called Haunted Arkansas.
That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. I'd love doing the research for that. I had my first paranormal experience at 12 years old. My friend died. And he died real suddenly. We were... in the 7th grade, and it was the holiday break. That was always the long break.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he was shot in the head.
Oh my God. Accident?
Yeah. And my other best friend, he fell in his arms, and basically it was like, how everything has to be like a millimeter, and it would have been a different outcome. It went in under his cheekbone, and it went around and severed his brainstem and lodged behind the other ear.
Oh my God.
He was dead before he hit the floor.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
if any of it's good, that part is
right. He did not suffer. He probably didn't even know what
Right.
But anyway, I was devastated.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
And I had gone out, and there was this little bridge that looked over a creek over at our house, and I was just sitting there, crying and praying and throwing rocks, just trying to make sense of it. And I looked up, and he was just standing there smiling at me.
Oh wow!
I can still see it. I can see the smile. I can see his little cowlick. I can see kind of like the fuzzy edges of him. And he just smiled, and then he turned and evaporated. And, that I think that was just him saying, I'm okay. I'm always going to be with you. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm always believed. But I've seen a lot. My proof has always been personal, stuff like that. Like my grandfather came to me. So yeah, I don't understand how people can go, it just isn't real. How can you just count all those personal experiences?
All right,
yeah.
Here's something else that I have a problem with, and anybody that says otherwise is emphatically wrong. You cannot prove something doesn't exist. That's impossible. You cannot prove a negative. Mm-hmm. It's the best you can say is
we don't have
evidence of that yet. If I say, hey, I believe that at one time in history there was a unicorn that farted fire. There's no way anybody can say, well, that never happened. You don't fucking know, and you can't prove it didn't happen. The best you can ever say is, we don't have evidence of that. So if anyone doesn't believe in the paranormal, which is fine, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Absolutely.
I would highly encourage them to never say, this doesn't exist and you're an idiot if you believe it. I would highly encourage them to say, I personally haven't seen evidence of that.
Yeah, the paranormal, reincarnation, things like that. There's just so much. Like, people just, I know it makes people uncomfortable because it doesn't exactly jive with the Sunday school shit we were taught. Mm-hmm. And, but I think when there's...
Well, does it though?
Well,
Jesus was reincarnated.
Well, and it used to be a doctrine in Christianity. Mm-hmm. It was taken away, but
because it didn't fit with someone's agenda,
right? Mm-hmm. So I understand why it makes people uncomfortable. But when you've got these stories and they have corroboration and they've popped up since the beginning of time,
having an outlier, okay, having a one-off, okay, you can discount that as an anomaly. Mm-hmm. Having 5, you can discount those as anomalies. There's been a lot of people on this planet. When you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and it goes back thousands of years
through recorded history,
it becomes more difficult to discount that as an anomaly.
Yeah, and I feel that way about like Bigfoot. I feel that way about reincarnation, aliens, paranormal. There's just too much. All these people can't be crazy.
And we were talking about aliens, and there's a lot of people who like to say, one of my favorite things, aliens don't exist. Well, that's pretty goddamn arrogant.
I think that's arrogant in the size of the universe.
But we know of, 1 billion trillion stars. That's a lot of zeros. So let's say that the odds are 1 in a trillion that there's a planet with life on it. That means that of the stars or the planets we know of, there's a billion of them. A billion with a B.
Well,
that have
why
some sort of intelligent life on it.
You know why people can't accept that and just say, could be.
Are you talking about religious people? Because I've
in general.
I've heard a theory, or
it takes away how special we are. Because
I don't know that we're that fucking special.
But that's what they.
Have you seen what we do to each other?
Oh, up close and personal. But the thing is, if we're special and the chosen of God, and the Creator God made just us in His image, then we're special. If there are other types of people out there, we're not special.
See, and I would expect that and then this is not the case, but I would expect that if the evolutionists, which I am not necessarily one. I
believe in creative evolution.
Yeah, but I don't believe that we came from a fish. Sorry, I just don't think that happened.